baby, right back into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. Coming off a lousy day of betting there yesterday, 1-3, so we will be looking to bounce back on today's program where I have my 4 best bets across the NBA and the NHL. In hindsight, maybe got a little too aggressive with all those underdog picks yesterday, but it is what it is, and we live to bet another day. That day is today, so fun show planned today. My best bets, second half of the program. Very special guest will be joining us, senior reporter over here at Vegas Insider, Patrick Everson. He's got boots on the ground in Las Vegas, access to sportsbook managers and odds makers there. He's going to give us the lowdown on where the money is moving here for Super Bowl 57. Big game coming up here in a couple days here. Right, guys? So before we get into the picks, do me a quick favor. Right down there, boom, there's a like button. Right down there beside it somewhere, there is a subscribe button. Give each of them a smash. So without further ado, let's get right into the action. We're going to start things off in beautiful Memphis, where the Chicago Bulls are in town to take on the Grizzlies. Quick one here. The Bulls, first quarter spread plus 2.5 all over this one. This is a red-hot spot for Chicago. Check them out. Over their last 10 games, 8-1-1 against the spread in the first quarter. Over their last 10 games on the road, 8-1-1 against the spread as well. Memphis, meanwhile, going the opposite direction, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 first quarters. Check out first quarter point margin over the last 10 games for each of these teams. Second for Chicago at plus 7.2 versus 26 for Memphis at minus 4.3. Just awful starts for the Grizzlies. And you dig into the stats here specific to the first quarter over the last 10 games. Third versus 29 in EFG shooting percentage for Chicago. 4 versus 24 in opponent EFG percentage. Bulls forcing more turnovers, allowing less offensive boards. Absolutely beautiful spot on Chicago in the first quarter. All right, next up, we are off to Denver, the biggest spread of the night in the NBA. And I like the biggest dog of the night in the NBA. Give me the Timberwolves plus 9 in this one. So the first thing you think of when you think of the Minnesota Timberwolves probably isn't good defense, but this has been one of the better defenses in the league over the past few weeks. Last 10 games, 5th in opponent EFG percentage, 3rd in points allowed per 100 possessions, 4th in opponent turnover percentage, 1st in threes allowed per game. Better than Denver in all of these categories. The Timberwolves are a team that plays up to the competition on a 9-1 against the spread stretch as an underdog with 8 outright wins in the span, including wins versus these Knights on January 2nd versus the Cavs versus the Grizzlies versus the Kings and versus the Warriors in their most recent game. And maybe kind of odd here, but they've had the Nuggets number 5-1 straight up in the last 6 meetings. And they've kept the spread 7 straight times in Denver. Give me the biggest dog of the night, the Timberwolves plus 9 in Denver. Next up, dogs don't stop. We're off to Los Angeles, where the OKC Thunder in town. A lot of focus on LeBron James trying to break the all-time scoring record. My focus is on those OKC Thunder. I like them to cover the spread coming in at plus 6.5 points. So too many points for the Thunder here. 12-3 against the spread pair as a dog of 5 or more. They are also the league's best road underdog, 15-6-1 against the spread. Also, OKC, profitable bounce back bet. They lost last night in Golden State. No shame in that. They're covering at 63% in the game after a loss. That's the 3rd best in the NBA. And I don't think the Lakers will be able to pull away from the Thunder, who play in a lot of very tight games because LA is struggling offensively at the moment. Last 10 games, 26 in EFG shooting percentage and 19th in points per 100 possessions. OKC much better in each of those categories. Give me the Thunder plus 6.5. All All right, and we're going to wrap things up on the ice. We are off to the Motor City, Detroit, where the Edmonton Oilers are in town. I like the Oilers. I like them a lot, so I'm going to take them in regulation. Minus 105. You dig into the analytics here. Significant edge for Edmonton. First versus 26 and high danger chances 4%. Second versus 17th and expected goals 4%. 6th versus 19th in Corsi 4%. Now, Detroit lacks the firepower to hang around in this matchup. Last 10 games, 3rd versus 29th in high danger chances 4. 2nd versus 25th in shots per game. And Edmonton, quite simply, much better on the road. 15-7-1 on the road this season. One of the best road records in the NHL. Better than the record at home. 7-1 in the last 8 road games. Give me Edmonton in 60 minus 105. Indeed. There we have it. What's that? 4 picks in 3 minutes. That might be a record around here at chasing that paper. Guys, if you're looking to tail any of those picks or fade them, if you faded me yesterday, you did all right. I recommend placing your action over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about them. It's never been easier to bet with confidence. That's because the king of sportsbooks is giving you a can't-miss first bet offer with up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. Sign up with BetMGM using promo code VIBonus and get a first bet offer up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. That's VIBonus, all one word, no spaces, for a first bet offer of $1,000 paid back in bonus bets. If you don't win, just use the code VIBonus. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older to wager. Offer is for new customers only. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Indeed.
It's good.
Yeah, like I've been saying, a lot of people will be opening up a new sports book, maybe placing a bet for the first time. You got to take advantage of these promo offers, guys. This betting stuff is hard enough. This is where we can get a little bit back from the sports book. So take advantage of that bonus offer over at BetMGM using the bonus code VIBonus. Okay, coming up right now, let's bring in my guy, senior reporter, my coworker here at VegasInsider, boots on the ground in Las Vegas. We got him here. There we go. My man, Patrick Everson. Early morning in Las Vegas. Busy time of year, though, Patrick, right?
Yeah, it's a great time of year. It's a little early, but it's not terrible. I'm up earlier on college and NFL weekends, so 8 o'clock's not too bad. I'll take that. It's a pleasure to be on. Thanks a lot for asking me in, Joe. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we got a big game coming up this week, Patrick. Of course, I'm not talking about the Wizards-Hornets game tomorrow. I know a lot of people looking forward to that one. But, of course, we got the Super Bowl coming up here on Sunday. And you got boots on the ground in Las Vegas. You got insights from sportsbook managers and bookmakers down there. So paint a little bit of a picture here for us based on where the spread opened for this game, where it's at now, and how it got there.
Well, for the most, and it's been interesting. Although really the last few days it's very much stabilized. I think there's gonna be a real late crush. The public, everybody's gonna come in as you get to the weekend, and that might unstabilize things a little bit. But it was interesting. Most books opened a round pick, maybe Eagles -1, but there were a couple of stray books out there. PointsBet was among them, as was Circa, that opened Chiefs -2.5. So that was a fascinating little bit of a journey for them, but the folks at Circa explained it really well. It was definitely interesting. They don't see, and they're right. There's not a whole lot of difference between -2.5 and pick in the way that there is, say, between -4 and -6. So they didn't feel too bad about it. They said, look, it was a discovery process for us, and what we discovered is the market thought our number was garbage. So that was fascinating. But generally speaking, it was a round pick. And as most everybody knows by now, the Eagles got bet out to -2.5 in a really big hurry. But it didn't take too long, really by the middle of the week last week, Joe, for that to come back to Chiefs -1.5. And in some instances, a couple of books, BetMGM told me this, Superbook told me this, I'm sure this was the case at Circa and elsewhere, that some of the sharper players felt that was just going a little too far. And in fact, one odds maker said there's no way that this ever gets to Eagles 3. And it certainly looks like that's going to be the case now. So it dialed back to 2, then 1.5, but it's been pretty stable at most books at 1.5 for a few days now. And in the latest update I got late yesterday afternoon, early evening, this is from BetMGM Nevada. So it's only the picture of how things are for BetMGM on the ground here in Las Vegas. It's not the BetMGM national picture. But Nevada takes such a tremendous amount of handle on the NFL every week, and certainly on the Super Bowl, it's certainly a good snapshot. And what Scott Shelton there told me, and this has been the case pretty much everywhere, he said tickets are just over 2-1 in favor of the Eagles, and at most books, tickets and money on the spread have been running in favor of the Eagles. However, he did say that the Chiefs finally, at least here at BetMGM Nevada, took a sizable wager, low six-figure wager on Sunday. After all last week, all the big bets really mainly coming in on the Eagles, and even more mainly coming in on the Eagles money line. They finally saw a six-figure play on the Chiefs on the spread. And he said that kind of evened out the money. And in fact, the Chiefs are a little bit ahead on money. But and on the money line, it's like I said, it's all Eagles here at BetMGM Nevada, including several big bets. So they've got a pretty big decision there. And BetMGM Nevada, probably BetMGM nationally at the moment, and several other books that I've talked to, PointsBet, DraftKings, Caesars, etc. It's shaping up, at least at the moment, where they'll need the Chiefs. But there's a long time between Tuesday morning here and early Tuesday here and a little bit later Tuesday morning where you're at, and Super Bowl kickoff. A lot can happen.
Okay, so yeah, a long way to go, but it appears as if the public is on the side of the Eagles. So I'll put you on the spot here. In your experience, how does the public typically do in the biggest game of the year?
That's a good question, and I should have been prepared for. But what I would say is it's a little, generally, as you and I know, oftentimes the sharp bettors have a difference of opinion with the public. The public is rooting for favorites and rooting for points and all things positive in NFL games, especially big NFL games. And obviously this is the biggest NFL game. But if I recall correctly, I'm just gonna see where the I'm trying to remember last week. There was a sharp bettor that I speak with every week here in town that kind of gives me his insights. And he's kind of swinging the other way, and the books, as it turns out, are swinging the other way. How the public is going to fare, like I said, it's a good question. The Super Bowl, you're obviously getting down to two really, really good teams, so it's not obviously we're a long, long way removed from the regular season and what may or may not happen Sunday. But at least on the sharp side, one bettor again who I talk to every week, he didn't say he liked the Chiefs, because he wanted to see how these injuries pan out, how the Chiefs heal up with the receiving core, and obviously with Mahomes' ankle and so forth. But he implied he liked the Chiefs by his play on the total. He played over 49.5 right out of the gate. And he said, Andy Reid with 2 weeks is lethal, and it's a fast track. He likes both offenses to produce and score. So he liked the over. That's always going to be a public side in the Super Bowl. And as we saw, this touched 51 a couple of times, I believe. I think most books are sitting at there's a 51 or two out there now again. It had gone back to 50 and a half at some books, but the over is certainly going to be a public play, and at least one sharp bettor is on it, but though at a better number than you're getting right now. Okay, so let's take a look at props here. What is typically the most popular bet prop for the Super Bowl at sportsbooks in Las Vegas? And do we have anything interesting going on in the prop betting market with the game approaching here? I would say the most interesting is the coin toss. I mean, it's the most popular. I mean, look, they're betting the coin toss. It is at BetMGM. John Ewing this morning at BetMGM nationally, so it's here in Vegas as well, but this is the national look from BetMGM. Among their most bet props, and I think this is by ticket count. It doesn't denote that. I believe this is by ticket count. Could be by money too, for that matter. But the third most bet prop is the result of the coin toss. it's just super highly sought after. Caesar Sports noted the coin toss is getting a ton of action. And look, it's just a matter of people want to pay out quickly. I mean, and it's fascinating to be in a Las Vegas sportsbook for the Super Bowl as the coin is tossed, because the room just explodes once there's a result there. It's hilarious to watch. People, like I said, people want a quick early result, a quick early cash on the prop bets. So,
Sure.
So it's really, really popular. I think what was interesting is Caesar Sports told me last week, Joe, that 57% of tickets on the coin toss were on tails, which is, that's two-way action, 57-43.
Sure.
But like 76% of money was on tails. So even though it's literally a coin toss, whether you're going to win that bet, there's a tails never fails philosophy coming into play here. So that's one that's seeing a lot of play. But again, this is really fresh just this morning, just really in the last hour or two from BetMGM, actually the last hour. But the most bet props at BetMGM, and I've seen this in other books too, Kelsey props are very popular at BetMGM, particularly to score the first touchdown at plus 650 and to score an anytime touchdown at minus 125. Last Thursday night when I was at the Superbook for their big Super Bowl props reveal that they do every year, that was one of the ones that the sharp guys hit really hard. The Superbook opened Kelsey at even money on anytime touchdown, and within a very short period of time Thursday night, they get pushed all the way out to Kelsey minus 135. And as I said a moment ago, BetMGM's at minus 125 on that. Again, result of the coin toss, and actually the most bet prop on result of the coin toss is tails. That's one of the third most bet. That's the third most bet prop at BetMGM. And somebody got in on this yesterday, and I think they got in on it and I think there was also isn't there some sort of conspiracy about a script being out there about the game and the final score or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs 37-34, the Eagles 37, Chiefs 34 correct score is among the most bet props at 80-1. And then Miles Sanders over 59.5 rushing yards. That's a snapshot of how things are at BetMGM. But like I said, the coin toss and the Kelsey props are getting hit pretty good at multiple shops.
Well, Patrick, I'll be fading the public and taking heads on the coin toss this year, personally. They say tails never fails. I say heads will prevail. That's what I always say. So we'll.
That's clever. You kept the poem going. You're a poet and maybe knew it. I don't know. Maybe you know it.
Absolutely. So we'll leave it at this, Patrick. So compared to a normal weekend in the regular season for the NFL, exactly how big of a monster is the Super Bowl for sports books?
Oh, it's just incredible. I mean, look, it is the single most. It is the highest bet single day event on the American sports betting calendar. It absolutely. I mean, the NFL drives the bus for the American sports betting industry, and the Super Bowl is in the front seat. The numbers are incredible, and they go up every year. Last year, just in Nevada, the Super Bowl took in $178 million in total handle, which was a record by a mile. It blew out the old record by about $20 million. So, and that's been something that's, generally speaking, it doesn't go up every year in Nevada, but it's been very steadily climbing over the last 10 to 12 years. It just gets more and more. And now you've got, 30 plus other jurisdictions across the nation that are in on this. And so obviously it's going to set new records every year because you've got more states betting into it every year. But even the appetite is growing among bettors, regardless of whether you've got more jurisdictions involved in legal regulated sports betting. It's just massive. It's hard to describe, but it is so head and shoulders above any other single day event. The only other event that beats it for handle, Joe, is the NCAA tournament, and that's because the NCAA tournament is held over the course of 3 weekends. So it's obviously massive, but nothing beats the Super Bowl. The books generally do well to it as long as there's a lot of with the prop bets, which are the most popular thing now. Really, like more handle is on the prop bets than is on the game at a lot of books. They're just rooting for a lot of unders and nos on prop bets, and if you're seeing a lot of unders and nos developing over the course of the game, then the books are going to have a really good day. If you're seeing a lot of overs and yeses that tie into prop bets, high scoring game, etc., then the public and the bettors are generally going to have a really nice evening at the sportsbooks this Sunday.
Absolutely. Okay, Patrick, we'll leave it at that. Now, I know you have plenty more check-ins for us here at Vegas Insider, so tell us a little bit about what you have coming up in the days leading up to the game and where we can find your work, of course.
Absolutely. And first off, I would encourage everybody checking this out, whether it's now or you're rewatching it on YouTube or what have you. Joe, you do tremendous work, and so does everybody else at Vegas Insider. There's a lot of really good content up on the site, up on our YouTube channel, constantly on social media. So please check out Joe's stuff and everybody else's stuff at Vegas Insider. I'll have basically each day I've been updating the action report article from a variety of sources. So you get kind of a snapshot of how the game is being bet at multiple sports books and how it's evolving over the course of these 2 weeks. So that'll update again today. There'll be plenty of stuff popping up on social media for sure, and over the course of the weekend, especially on Super Bowl Sunday, have some videos populating on Vegas Insider's Twitter feed, literally live, plausibly live, about a little bit delayed while I edit them, but videos from the sportsbook floors here in Las Vegas, which are certainly going to be jumping. Just a whole lot of great content, and again, you can find my work at VegasInsiders.com website, and some of the video work lands on the YouTube channel for Vegas Insider as well. It's a great week, Joe. It's unbeatable. The city's going to be hopping. Really across the country, it's going to be hopping. It's the first Super Bowl to be played in a legal, regulated sports betting state, so obviously that's a developing storyline. You can't beat it. This is a great time to be in this niche, and this is going to be a great matchup this weekend.
Before I let you go, Patrick, I got to ask. Now, I told the viewers of this show that I'm a big advocate of watching the Super Bowl in a room alone by myself.
I saw that.
I'm guessing you're going to be doing the complete opposite. So where does a guy like you watch the Super Bowl, and do you actually get to watch the game?
I usually do get to watch the game. It's it's that one time where you're not looking ahead to the next week, where you're like, okay, I need to start, as the later games kick off, I need to start on my opening line report for next week's games. Well, there's no opening line report for next week's games, which, teardrop to the eye. When the NFL season ends, I mean, look, it's a grind and you know it, but when the NFL season ends, it's like, oh man, we got to wait till August for preseason and September for regular season NFL again. But I'll be out. I'm absolutely at some of the biggest and best books in Las Vegas, including BetMGM, as you alluded to earlier. They are great people to work with. I'll be out at an MGM book pregame, probably the Cosmo, I think, where we'll have a video, Vegas Insider video, kind of previewing how the action is as you get closer to kickoff. And then during the game, more than likely, I'll be over at the Superbook, which is just a great vibe, an incredible book. All these books are incredible, but just a great vibe there, huge crowd. And like I said, I'll be taking video clips and putting them up on social media of the reaction after the coin toss is decided. I guarantee you there's going to be a huge roar. There'll probably be a huge roar for the length of the national anthem and all that. It's just a fascinating way to take it in. And the only time I have a hard time with it, Joe, to kind of live in your shoes, is if my Denver Broncos are in it. But that hasn't been a problem for several years, and it might not be a problem for several more. So I understand where you're at. You'd rather just be in a room by yourself and soak it in. I'm okay as long as it's not the Broncos, and unfortunately, I haven't had that problem, or fortunately, I haven't had that problem for several years.
Yeah, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I don't know if I'll ever have to worry about that. But Patrick,
oh my gosh.
We know you got a lot to get to, my man, so we'll let you go. We thank you very much for joining us, and we'll make sure to stay tuned to what you have coming up for the big game. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Joe. And again, everybody, check out Joe's stuff. He works his tail off and does great content. Really good stuff, Joe. So have a good week, and we'll talk again soon, I'm sure.
You too, my man. Good luck. Thanks. All right. Our guy, Patrick Everson, boots on the ground in Las Vegas. Last time I saw Patrick, I was down in Las Vegas. We enjoyed a lovely steak dinner. If you're interested in my best bets for the Super Bowl and you missed our Super Bowl betting extravaganza show, it's already in the can. It's up here on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. I think it's pinned to the top of our page here. You're going to want to go check that out. We also had a prop betting show yesterday. Jill and Sam laid out their favorite prop bets for the game. Kevin Rogers has a ton of content up here on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel as well. So make sure you check that all out. And you're also going to want to check out the Vegas Insider app. Let me tell you a little bit about it. The Vegas Insider app gives you all the major sports betting odds at your fingertips, along with picks, expert breakdowns, and more. You can shop for the best odds, find props, futures, and plenty more with the app. If you want more Vegas Insider content like our shows, videos, and podcasts, you can find it all on the app in the media section. Download the Vegas Insider app on Apple or Android. That's better with the Vegas Insider app.
Woo!
Yeah, I strongly recommend giving Patrick a follow on Twitter. Always lots of great information, regardless of the sport. Boots on the ground in Las Vegas. He'll tell you which way the money is going, the sharp money, the square money. And something else that we asked you guys to weigh in on here. Big news out of the weekend. I touched on it yesterday. It's probably going to be the biggest fight of the year in the UFC. Conor McGregor is taking on Michael Chandler. We put a poll up on the Vegas Insider Twitter feed asking you guys who wins. Yeah, this is, minus 110 on each side. I said yesterday I would have opened Michael Chandler minus 140. Notably due to McGregor's inactivity, the large gaps between fights. But it is a winnable fight for McGregor as well. So we're seeing 55.7% of people on Chandler. Yeah, McGregor doesn't like getting hit anymore. But who knows? He gets back in the mix here for the tough show. Maybe being neck deep back in MMA, full-time in MMA. Something that can help him out a little bit here. Okay, let's get into viewer picks before we send you guys off. We had a couple of submissions here this morning, a couple of regulars telling us who they like. I was there with Matty Puppy Sports. I think he hit one there last night for us. He's on Murray State plus 3.5 versus Duke. Do not love the Drake. Drake that's a Seinfeld reference, I'm pretty sure. Drake is coming off 2 straight OT games where they didn't cover. And they're 2-10 ATS in their last 12 after a straight-up win, and 5-3 ATS in their last 18. Murray State is 9-1 straight up at home and 4-1 ATS in their last 5. Murray State moneyline also plus 140. Matty Puppy Sports, give him a follow. He likes his trends and he hits a lot of winners here for us on the show. Next up, we got our guy Nathan Schreckengost. He likes the over in the Sharks-Tampa Bay game. The Lightning got blown out last night by the Panthers. 6.5 minus 114. Should see Elliott in net for the Bolts. Vasilevsky played last night. San Jose first in both expected goals for, high danger chances, 4 and 5 on 5 play. And in the last 10 games on the road, Tampa Bay Lightning 6 in expected goals for and first in high danger chances, 4 and 5 on 5. Their last 10 at home. San Jose has scored 3+ and 7 in their last 9 on the road. Tampa Bay has scored 3+ and 13 of their last 15 at home. 3 + 3 = 7. If you bet on hockey, you know exactly what that means. 3 + 3 = 7. You gotta love when you're on the over 6.5 and they tie things up at 3. Absolutely beautiful. And we wrap things up here with our guy, Underdog Betting Specialist. He's on Toledo, +3. We like some odds here. Plus 3 at 2 units. Toledo 7-0 straight up in their last 7 games. Toledo 10-3 ATS in the last 13 games versus Akron. Offensive rating number 1. Toledo is a bit of a casual when it comes to college hoops, so that comes as a bit of a surprise to me. Turnovers 15th versus 151. Assists 33 versus 170. Field goal percentage 14th versus 260th. And you can get Toledo at +3. It's like an absolute bargain. Oh, one more here. So savvy with it. Give this guy a follow on Twitter. He likes the Suns -5.5. Yeah, Suns got off to a bad start when Booker went out. Booker's going to be back tonight. They were treaded water, I guess you could say. Still in position for the playoffs, though. But meanwhile, the Nets' second game of back-to-back. Without Durant, Curry, and Simmons. Not sure if Dinwiddie plays tonight, but I do see Phoenix winning big. I don't know. The Nets played hard last night against the Clippers. They lost. They didn't really have anyone in the lineup. I get it, though. Second game of a back-to-back. You got to consider that's worked into the spread, but I think I'll stay away from that one. It's going to be interesting. NBA trade deadline coming up here on Thursday. You guys think Kevin Durant gets moved? I don't. People are talking about like the Phoenix Suns. Oh, the Suns. What can they offer now that they made a lot of offers for Kevin Durant when Durant demanded a trade earlier over the course of the summer, I guess it was. And the Nets just aren't going to give him away. The Nets aren't throwing in the towel by any means here. The Nets still have they have a lot of depth now, adding Dorian Finney-Smith and Dinwiddie. They need Durant to stay healthy. Maybe he can win a playoff series or two, but I don't think they're going to throw in the towel. Now, if they could trade for Jaylen Brown, I would do that in a heartbeat. A lot of people were very suspicious last night. They said, oh, Jaylen Brown got pulled out of the game or inactive of the game. People found that suspicious. He had an illness or something like that, and he was rumored to have been offered for Durant coming into the season. I would do that in a heartbeat if I were the Brooklyn Nets. Jaylen Brown on the right side of 30. He is an all-star caliber player. Kevin Durant, 34 years old, and he gets injured every season. One of the best players in NBA history, but you got to start building towards the future. Get Ben Simmons off that roster as well. It's funny with the Nets here. It's ridiculous. They completely bent over for KD, Kyrie. KD's not innocent in all this, by the way. And same with James Harden. Wouldn't it be funny if they traded Kevin Durant and all they would have to show for that is Ben Simmons as one of their marquee players? You can't bend over for these players. You know, it's kind of backfired a little bit on the Clippers as well. They completely bent over for Kawhi Leonard when they traded everything to bring Paul George in. What have they accomplished? I know they got to a Western Conference Finals, but it doesn't really work when you give the players everything they want. Look at the Arizona Cardinals bending over for Kyler Murray. They can't find a head coach to come in to work with Kyler Murray. Absolute disaster for them. Meanwhile, you have the Lakers. They won't bend over for LeBron and trade those first-round draft picks from 2034 that they want to hang on to for some reason. But the Lakers got to make some sort of move, or LeBron's going to be pulling a KD and a Kyrie, saying, I want to trade. You got to get me the hell out of here. They're wasting the end of LeBron's prime. Maybe they could trade Anthony Davis. He's going to be injured again for another month here in a couple of weeks. Bones are made of chalk. All right, guys, before we let you go, it is time for today's Handicapper Heat Check presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today's featured expert is Tim Michael, who won 9 straight NHL picks and is on a 5-1 tear over his last 6 college hoops plays. VI experts, ASA hit 5 college hoops wins in a row and is on a 10-2 NHL win streak. Scott Rickenbach continued his hot streak, going 20-3 over his last 23 college hoops picks. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for tonight's winning plays. Yeah, you can't completely bend over for these players. I think the Cleveland Browns trading everything they had for Deshaun Watson, all those first-round draft picks, giving him all that guaranteed money, that was a complete and total disgrace. That could set that franchise back a decade. They're not going to have anything to build off. If it's funny, the one team that LeBron played for that didn't bend over for him was the Miami Heat. You could probably say that's where he's had the most success in his career, 4 straight NBA Finals. Pat Riley wasn't going to bend over for LeBron, and it worked out pretty good. James Harden, these guys. It's ridiculous. The Brooklyn, they got nothing back for James Harden. Ben Simmons. Is Ben Simmons going to be in the NBA 3 years from now? You barely know the guy even exists out there anymore. Yeah. Okay, yeah. NBA trade deadline. It'll be interesting to see what happens. My Toronto Raptors potentially having a fire sale here. We will see, but we're going to be right back with you tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place right here on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed. I think Kevin Rogers is going to be joining me, breaking down his favorite college hoops plays. I'll be breaking down my favorites in the NBA and the NHL. Best of luck with your bets tonight, unless, of course, you are fading me. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo!